All right, so your boy just turned 20 about a week ago, and something that I've really been trying to shift to enter my 20s is the fact that I always say that I am a very inconsistent person. I can't complain as to where I am currently, but I definitely think that I could be a lot farther ahead of where I am currently if I was to be more consistent with everything in my life. The thing about it is, it's like we love to say that, oh, I'm not a consistent person. I'm not able to do this thing every single day. I'm not able to be consistent with this habit. I'm not able to show up for myself every single day. But the thing is, you are consistent every single day, whether you want to believe it or not. I mean, we are all doing something consistently. But the thing is building a brand new habit and being consistent is something that is unfamiliar to you. It's kind of hard to do. And I know I've struggled with it all my teenage years up until, even now I'm 20. And like I said, I'm just now making these identity shifts to actually make it easier for myself to become consistent. So I think in 2026 that we're going to have to stop doing is saying that I'm not a consistent person. Like, stop identifying with that, because the more you identify with being an inconsistent person is the more that you are familiarizing your brain into thinking that you are not consistent with anything in your life. Everyone is consistent at certain things. It's just, what are you being consistent with? And let me give you an example of this. So you might say you're very inconsistent at going to the gym 5 days a week. You want to go Monday through Friday. Here's the thing, and you call yourself an inconsistent person because you can't do that. You consistently every single week are eating junk food every single day. So that's something that you're consistent with because it's something that you consistently do, and it's the normal, and it's something that you're used to. Like, we all do certain habits consistently. It's just that we are so used to only saying that we're consistent at things that are good for us that we don't really identify with being consistent with the things that are bad for us. I can sit here and say that I want to save more money, but if I am very consistent at spending my money, then I would be a consistent spender instead of a consistent saver. Chances are we all are consistent at something. It's just whether that thing that you're being consistent with is actually pushing you forward instead of bringing you backwards. Because something that we have to realize is that every habit that we do, everything that we're consistent at, it either compounds into something that's positive for us, or it compounds into something that is going to be a problem for us later. Believe it or not, every habit that you do that is bad for you in this current moment, you're going to pay for later down the line. The way I've been really looking at it now is like, do I want to reap the benefits of the pain and suffering I'm putting myself through now? Because we all have to go through pain and suffering, whether we want to go through it now or, go through it later. Eventually, these things that we're choosing not to do is going to catch up with us, whether we like it or not. And eventually, even if you put it off and be like, oh, I'm going to be consistent at this habit a week later, you're still going to have to go through the pain of being consistent later on than if you were to just start it now. And another really big thing that I used to do that was a mistake is I would go and have this very big transformation for myself, and I would be like, all right, today's the day. I am going to make sure I'm working out every single day. I'm going to make sure that I am meditating every single day. I'm going to make sure that I'm reading 30 minutes every single day. Like, these are non-negotiables for myself. Let's get it. And then next thing you know, at the end of the week comes, I only went to the gym 2 days out of the whole entire week. I only meditated 2 days out of the entire week, and I probably only read 3 times out of the whole week. And that's the problem. You're trying to make big changes before building consistency. And the thing about it is, when you make these big goals and big changes without actually starting off with smaller changes for yourself, you end up not having the consistency in the history or receipts to show that you can actually show up for yourself. Because one of the biggest things that you have to realize is that it would be much better for you to do these smaller habits. Let's say breaking it down into 5 minutes of meditation, working out only 2 times a week, 3 times a week instead of five, right? And making sure that you're reading, let's say, 5 to 10 pages every single day instead of setting a goal for 30 minutes of reading every single day. Doing these smaller habits and slowly increasing the amount of time that you put into these habits every single day. Doing that over time instead of doing these big bursts of motivation changes in your life where you really want to change your life and you think of, who do I want to become? Which is a great start. We always have to start with that identity. You can't become the person that you want to be immediately overnight. And you have to realize that the person that you do want to become doesn't change overnight. Like a lot of the success that you see in other people, it started off from them not having any results. It started off from them not having a big burst and exploding overnight. Chances are they put in that time and effort slowly but surely. And let's use this analogy that the book Atomic Habits uses. It basically talks about putting an ice cube in a room that is 20 degrees, for an example. I know it's not exactly what the book said. What you'll notice is that if you slowly increase the temperature in the room, nothing seems to change, but the amount of degrees that the temperature is slowly but surely increasing. Now we got to 25 degrees. Now, nothing happened. We get to 30 degrees. The ice is slowly but surely dripping a little bit of water. Now we're turning it up even more, 35 degrees. You notice the ice cube is slowly but surely dripping even more. Now you take it up to 40 degrees. Now you're at 40 degrees. You can notice that the ice cube is really, really melting now. Now you take it up to 45, it's still about the same. The ice cube is slowly but surely melting. Take it up to 55, 60 degrees. Boom. Now you're like, oh my God, this ice cube is almost gone. It's just water left at this point because you've reached that threshold where your returns are so visible. You want to realize that the habits and the steps that you're taking right now may not seem like a very impactful moment of your life right now, but your future self will always thank you for doing these habits now, because later on, you're going to reap the benefits of the habits that you did 3 years ago. You're going to reap the benefits of the habits that you did 5 years ago and 10 years ago. And imagine doing a good habit for yourself over the span of 10 years. Imagine how far you'll be. And that brings me into the next thing, which is systems. We could set all the goals we want, right? But chances are, if someone has a better system than you, they're automatically going to achieve that goal that you're trying to hit before you do, because your systems were incorrect and you only focused on your goals. Because I can sit here and make a vision board. I can sit here and have these goals written down on a piece of paper, written down in my Apple Notes, right? If I'm not doing anything to get towards those goals, chances are those goals are not going to come to me. And people love to say, oh, well, you can just manifest anything into thin air. Yes, that is sort of true, and I do believe in that, but there is no manifestation without action. You have to be putting in some sort of action in order for your manifestations to come true. Now it's the only time you technically have. So if you don't take advantage of this time, you're going to look back once again another year and be like, damn, I should have been on my shit. I should have been doing the habits that I said I was going to do. And we can't keep bullshitting ourselves, because the more that we sit and bullshit ourselves, the more excuses we're going to come up with. Years later, when we realize we're not consistent again and we come to this reflection phase, and be like, man, I should have did the habit. Man, I should have been saving that money. Man, I should have been spending all this money. I should have been meditating. I should have been journaling. I should have been working on that business. I should have been taking college more seriously. If that's what you're into, whatever the main thing is for you, that's what you need to take seriously. So if you have these set of habits and these goals that you want to achieve, you have to align your systems with that goal. Stay consistent in your systems for long, because you don't believe that you can. You don't believe that you're the person that you want to become. So it all starts with that identity shift, and that is so important to reach the goals that you want to achieve. But y'all, everything I talked about in this video comes from the book Atomic Habits. I've read this book a handful of times, maybe like 2 times, 3 times. I won't say a handful, but every time I've read this book, I always get more insight and knowledge and more inspiration to be consistent, to be the person that I know I am and the person that I am becoming, because I identify with the person that I know I want to be. If you want to pick up the book for yourself, I highly recommend it. Not sponsored or anything, it's just a book I've really been reading recently. It's about getting 1% better every single day. It's either you get 1% better every single day or you get 1% worse. And it's not about being perfect as well. It's about showing up for yourself even when you don't feel like it. So if you're going to the gym and you feel like you want to miss Friday, just show up for yourself. Go walk on the treadmill. Go do some pull-ups. Go do a couple of push-ups. Go bench just a little bit. You don't have to show up 100% every single day. We're not robots. That's what you have to realize. What happens is when you have the receipts of at least showing up for yourself, no matter what it is, you have that boost of confidence in yourself that you're able to show up. And slowly but surely, as you keep showing up for yourself, no matter what, even if you do just a little bit, that is affirming the person that you are and the person that you're becoming and the person that you want to be, because you identify and you are that person. That's something that I used to neglect a lot. I would be like, well, okay, I'm not going to meditate today because I'm not doing the full 10 minutes. Or, well, I won't go to the gym today because I feel like I don't have the strength to do my workout routine from start to finish. So I'm not going to do anything at all. What you have to realize is it'd be better for you to just show up and do a little bit than for you to do nothing at all, because that's still progressing you towards the things that you want and desire and the person that you are becoming and the person that you are. With that being said, I hope this video was helpful. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all in the next video. Subscribe if you want to. Don't forget to drop a like on this video as well if it helped you out. Yeah, see you on the next one. Peace.